Hello, I'm going to be teaching you how to set up Banish the Snakes, St. Patrick in Ireland by GMT Games. Game designed by Kevin McPartland and Jerry Shiles, and the graphics are by Terry Leeds. The game came out in 2022, so beautiful art of St. Patrick. Banish the Snakes is a cooperative game for 1 to 6 players. When you play solitaire, they recommend you to play with more than one, just because it gives a better feel. Here's a brief introduction. St. Patrick, if I have any worth, it is to live my life for God, so as to teach these people. Legend has it that St. Patrick drove the snakes out of Ireland. It's true that there are no snakes anywhere on the island, but there have been none since the last ice age. So the legend seems to be an allegory about his successes in converting Ireland to Christianity. Banish the Snakes is a cooperative game that simulates Ireland in the 5th century, during the collapse of the Roman Empire in the west, and as Ireland turned toward the Christian religion. Players represent saints, Patrick and others who set out to convert the pagans on the island. You must work as a team to convert the people of Ireland before the barbarians completely overwhelm Britain. If you fail, the Irish will not be able to save civilization in the following centuries. This game takes about an hour. What's the box say? Oh, it doesn't tell me. The game takes 90 to 120 minutes. The complexity is low, and the solitaribilty is very high, according to the little scale that I can't show you. Sorry about that. It's right here. So GMT has a little scale that can help you guys out. Alright, so the game ends in one of 4 ways. The instant that every people marker, these little guys, are turned from this to this side. When this ends, the game ends immediately, and we have achieved what is called full victory. You and your team have achieved full victory. There still may be some pagan leaders or even druids remaining. The other 3 ways is the paganism marker. This little guy goes all the way down here. Or when the draw deck, which is over here, is empty, or when you can't draw a card, then the game will end. And so during the game, we'll play with a saint here, and if our saint ends up dying when we don't have one, then we become an acolyte. If any acolyte dies, then we just lose the game. Well, sorry, the game is over. Losing is kind of, it's debatable. If everybody is a Christian, then it's a full victory. Otherwise, if either the paganism is all the way here, the draw deck doesn't have an event card when you go to draw, or a acolyte dies, then you count up points, and they have a little chart here for all the points. So you can get total defeat, partial victory, and full victory. So you can see here, so 0 to 6.5 points is total defeat, 7 to 12.5 points, partial defeat, 13 through 18.5 points, partial victory, and 19 through 21 is full victory. They have a little chart here. You get +2 for every area with all Christian flock, +1 for every other area with more than half of the people Christian flock, +1 for a Christian high king, +1 plus half a point for each Christian king, +1 point if there is a cathedral, a level 3 church anywhere in Ireland, -1 for each active dolmen in Ireland, and -1 for each druid in Ireland. So that's how you calculate out your points. Hi, that's a brief overview. I will go over now how to set up the game. Okay, so we're going to place the little marker up here at the start. And then we're going to find these 3 tokens and put them in the respective area. So you have Scotland, Starch Christian, Strathclyde, Starch Christian, and England. So this map is separated into 3 areas: Scotland, Strathclyde, and England. So however you want to look at it, I guess. The main thing is there's event cards that pop up. Okay, and now we're going to put people in each of these spots here. And they're going to be flipped over to their pagan side, and then you organize them by the number that they are. So this will take a little while. Oh, this is a high one. One thing to note for this setup, I have chosen to do the easier mode, the beginner mode, which I'll tell you the differences that has in a moment. Well, I can say it now while I'm talking about this. We're doing this. We removed some high cost druids. And then when you go to convert a druid, if you fail, the power of the land awakens, and then the druid gets more powerful. So I removed those as well. And when a saint dies, he leaves a relic behind wherever he dies, and you can go there and make it into a relic, and then you can carry the relic around with you. There's some zero level ones, so I removed these as well. And then there's some druids that have a -6 or the highest ones. I removed those as well. So I made the game easier on myself. Oh, and there's one card. There's an event card from England that I removed as well. All these are in the rule book. If you want to play the standard way, you just put those back in. For just setting up the game, I'm just going to set it up like this though, and then if you stay with me and watch my next video, it will be playing it on beginner mode, and then I will do it again on the standard game as well. So you'll be able to see it all, and I guess I can try playing it on the hard mode as well. So there's rules in there as well for it. All right, so after we do the people, we do leaders. So the leaders, they want you to put in an opaque thing like this, and part of the reason why, so you put them all on the pagan side. So you find a chief spot and you just put one there. Sometimes an event card will call for a leader to, well, either die of old age or something, and when he does, he gets put over wherever he is at. So if the High King dies, he gets replaced by one of these guys, one of these kings here. If a king dies, they get replaced by one of their chiefs. And then if I believe the province is a majority Christian, they will be a Christian king, otherwise they'll be a pagan king, and so forth. Something like that. I'll get to those though when I get to it. And there's numbers on each of these things. So you don't just randomly pick whatever ones you want. You're just picking, you roll the die. So if this High King dies, you roll this die, and then 2. So you look for the king, 1, 2. So he will move up to that position. And then now that this place is void, you'll roll the die again. And in this province, the 4, so this guy would then become king. And then I would draw a new one from here to replace that king, or that chief. I need to set that aside. Okay, and then the next thing we do, so we have these little markers that you place on here to let you know that it is a king. The High King gets these 2 purple markers. If you ever lose the purple markers, you can probably use whatever you want. Just elevate it so that you know that it's actually there. The game does come with extra pieces of, I think it's like 1 of everything at least. Okay, so now we put the druids out. So you just don't look at the druids, keep them on this side. Okay, so and then just set those off to the side for now. All right, and then you're putting, here's the churches. So you have level 0 church, level 1 church, level 2, and level 3. There's only one level 3 church. There is level 8 churches, or sorry, there's 8 level 0 churches. Churches go where the druids go. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's 9 druids. So obviously there's only 8 of these. So you have to upgrade one of these to a level 1 church before you can even place all of them. And you want to do that because I had played this game previously, and I do know that if a spot is empty, there are cards that will make druids come back. There's also cards that make churches get destroyed, and so forth. Okay, so you have the relic set aside, the churches, and like I said, we're not using the dolmens, but they're here. They each have the same. It's just the, oh, wow, choose the one that doesn't have one. Each have a -1 symbol on it. Okay. And then we got the Gift of the Holy Spirit cards. These are just boons and benefits that you'll get. I believe event decks will pop up and give you them. And generally you get to choose which ones you want. Okay. And then you're going to set up the event deck. To set up the event deck, you take Arthur, King of the Britons event, and you place it over here in the key card spot. And then you take all the cards that say from England, and you set them in the England spot over here. All the ones that say from Strucklide, put them over here. Again, I know I'm butchering the name of the Old English, and here's Scotland. And then you just take, well, we'll wait on the event deck for a moment. The event deck just sits over here. The neat thing about the event deck, and the reason why King Arthur is the first one, has a little arrow here. So on your, what you do on your turn, you flip over an event card first, and where the arrow is pointing, you do that ability. So like this one, select any available Gift of the Spirit card and place it with that player's saved cards. And then this card would normally go up to the discard pile, but because this is one of the event cards over here for England, you just throw this over in the England side for now. And then this one becomes the new key card. So then on future turns, you'll flip over the next one, and this one points here. But this one, as you can see, it has, it's a save this card. So you would just tuck this one up to there, and you would bring this over there. Put it with the players, and then you next turn you'd flip a new one, and you would just do the, well, I guess that would stay there. So then this one would go over here, and then you would keep rotating, doing the effects. So that would be green, and then you put that on top, blue again, and so forth. So that is how the event deck works. Probably need to shuffle that pretty well. So King Arthur is just always used as the base one. For I believe the advanced hard rules, it tells you to shuffle that in, so you start with a random card instead. Okay. And now I'm playing with I'm going to do 2 players. I'm going to set it up for a 2-player solitaire mode. So I'm going to have these 2 colors. Right, so you want to put the zeal at the far left and the action points at the far left. So the action points you actually put according to the number right here. So if you see on here, so zeal is at 4, so then that means that you have 4 action points. There's various ways that you lose zeal, but you'll just start moving it down, and then when you get to this spot, now you start with 3 action points, and then you'll start with 2. Okay, and now we will pick a saint. So you have 12 saints to choose from. They have this backing, and they have Palladius and Patrick, and then they have other ones. So Auxiliarius, he has a bonus action. Look at that. And they each have they have abilities up at the top. So these are the ones that you'll pick. The historical ones they recommend. So they say at start historic down here at the bottom. Otherwise, they just say at start version. At start version. So I know for first player they go off of Palladius. So if he's in the game, then he goes first. If he's not in the game, then St. Patrick goes first. And then if he's not in the game, then you just roll the die and determine who goes first. For this 2-player game, I'm going to be playing with both these guys. Both Palladius and St. Patrick. So then you'll take the rest of the at start saints, set them aside. And then you will take, these are event deck saints. And the key note here is because we have Patrick and Palladius here, you need to take them out. And then you shuffle the ones you want to use. I already sleeved these, I didn't have enough sleeves. So I'm using these guys. And you're just going to put them in here. Let's get a little whatever. And then we'll shuffle the deck. All right, and then because specifically I'm using Patrick and I'm using Palladius, Palladius has already been in England for a bit, so he starts here. His zeal goes down by 2, and this first people is flipped over to converted. So it just means that he has already been doing stuff. Patrick, I'll just throw there. Okay. So that is how to set up the game. Stay tuned, and I will teach you how to play the game. Talk to you later. Bye.